of casualties that we have suffered, our troops have maintained the discipline and self-control of which we all feel proud.
Could you give us some of the arithmetic of the casualty figures?
We have suffered high casualties in the tune of about 55 dead. About 55 dead and about 320 wounded. It is unfortunate that even some of our people were missing. We've been able to trace most of them except one to date. Their casualties range to about 300 to 400. We're still counting them. They're still being picked up under debris and underground basements and tunnels. And there are about 1,500 or so of them who have been apprehended.
Very well trained.
Extremely well trained.
Where?
I've got a feeling that they've been trained in certain camps under officers and men who've been in the army at some stage or the other, and guerrillas who have got training from outside. These were all highly motivated people. They were disgruntled during their service in the forces, and they took this as an opportunity to train anti-nationalist elements. And I can tell you and assure you that the way they fought, it was a well-planned military operation. But the
which have the Chinese markings all over the place, and we feel that we've got these must be from
You have a rare assortment of captured weapons here. Would you like to describe some of the for us?
Yeah, I'd like to tell you we've captured all types of weapons, starting off from automatics, semi-automatics, single shots, weapons, sort of assorted weapons which were of foreign origin, or weapons which were held by our neighboring countries, and also some of our own weapons which have been probably picked up by some of these boys some time ago. Now, I'd like to tell you that some of the weapons which we recovered are first of all, the AK-47. That has got a Chinese marking here, and these are deadly weapons. This weapon is foolproof. There are hardly any stoppages and have a very high rate of fire.
What's the rate of fire?
Well, this moment I can tell you that they fired a magazine of about 30 rounds in practically less than about half a minute or so. I think that was how deadly it was. Then they did have a silencer 10. I think this is where they did most of their pooping off of the individuals whenever they felt like doing it. We've got an anti-tank weapon, and this is an RPG type. It hasn't got the markings are not there very clearly. But in this country, it again seems to be both Chinese, because this is some of the weapons which were there earlier. But it has its shoulder fired, and it has a smooth bore. It's an anti-tank weapon. Weapons for the snipers, with telescopic sights. Well, pick us up any time we felt like picking us up. Then there were the automatics, the light machine guns. Plenty of them. Well, here are only some of them we've recovered, and we're still recovering. We're in the process of recovering practically at one of these rooms per day.
Now, how do you think they got here? Did they come via Pakistan, these Chinese rifles?
There definitely seem to be been some gun running somewhere, because we've got information that there were some guys who used to get across these weapons and keep bringing it out here. But the way they got these consignments, my God, they must have got them in some big way or the other. I'd like to show you something more interesting, is these hand grenades, homemade hand grenades which they made. They were deadly weapons. I'll just show you some of them. And these weapons were ordinary, the machine which they use for threshing.
Yes.
They sort of wound around some plastic explosives, had a detonator, and they just threw it. And this was far more devastating than our .36 hand grenade.
What distance could that be thrown?
Well, it could be thrown the same distance if it was 30 yards or so, but still, I said those things caused maximum casualties. They kept on getting out of the manhole, throwing those things and getting down and back, and that's what happened, I think. I think that's the crudest bomb. Then they literally went to the extent of manufacturing grenades. I show you some of the manufacturing. I mean, we've got them in the process of the manufacturing thing. We've got them in the first mold, the second mold, and the final finished product. They're crude. Then remember I showed you the training grenade when we were coming across. That was one thing which was there. Then they had, to some extent, they had plenty of explosives. They had detonators with various time fuses, from 2 seconds to 4 seconds and 7 seconds.
Were all these weapons produced within the complex or outside?
Well, it was within the complex because these have been practically recovered from within the complex. This is one. This is some of the manufactured ones within the complex.